Nearly 1 million plastic water bottles is sold every minute in the world. Most of these bottles will never be recycled. Let's take US. In US, they only recycle from 25 to 30% of plastic bottles. The rest of the bottles, let's say 7 out of 10 bottles, will go to the landfill. The sad part is that it takes 500 years for one plastic bottle to disintegrate and completely to disappear. And this is only water bottles. What about plastic cups, plastic straws, plastic bags, and lots of other single-use plastic items? So I guess it's time to talk about why we should ditch the single-use plastic for good. I guess let's start from the very beginning. What is a single-use plastic? Those are items that are made primarily from plastic and are only intended to be used once and then discarded. Some definitions also claim that single-use plastic is the plastic that cannot be recycled into something new. Plastic is the material that doesn't really get recycled. Depends on the country. 10% of the plastic is recycled, the rest goes to landfill. Even those ones that are recycled, that process is usually not forever. Every recycling deteriorates the properties of this material and eventually it has to be discarded too, so it will go to landfill in the end. So recycling is definitely not a solution to the plastic in general and especially to the single-use plastic. We only use it once, like a plastic cup or a plastic bottle. It doesn't offset the footprint that this bottle created while it was produced, while the resources were claimed for this bottle. It's just too big of a damage to the environment just for us to use this item one time. Another sad news about recycling is that, for example, in a country like US, the numbers of recycled plastic is really low. And also, in the past, US used to send their plastic waste to countries like China so they could recycle it for us. Starting from 2018, China doesn't accept plastic waste from US. So what happened to some cities, to some municipalities? They're not recycling anymore. So even if you throw your plastic item that can be technically recycled in your recycling bin and you're actually paying for recycling, some cities in the US, some municipalities would choose to send it to landfill because it's cheaper for them than to recycle. I will include in the description of the video some links to the sources that claim that it's true. Another big issue is plastic and single-use plastic especially, that we consume so much of it, we throw away so much of it, so it eventually ends up in the ocean. The stats are really disturbing. The second most found item on the beach is a plastic bottle. When marine rescue team work with disturbed animals that are disturbed by our plastic waste, 1 out of 3 species of marine mammals were somehow entangled in some plastic litter in the ocean. Some predictions say that by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before moving to California, I spent 7 years living in Indonesia. And I remember the change. I remember my first year in Indonesia, I would see some plastic on the beach, but not much. My last year, I don't remember any time I would go somewhere to the beach or swim in the ocean and not find myself surrounded by garbage. And you can probably ask me, can we just reuse the single-use plastic? So to kind of offset the results. Unfortunately, not all plastic can be reused. Some plastic is very toxic when it's actually reused. Let's say a water bottle. Those bottles should not be reused again. You might think oh, I just reuse it. That's how I make it better. No, you make it more toxic for you and your family. You know what I think is the problem with the plastic pollution? That plastic creates convenience for us. Of course, when you have a party, you don't want to wash 20 dishes, 20 cutleries, 20 cups after this party. It's much easier just to buy single-use plastics and just discard them, just throw them away. It's super convenient, it creates a comfort. And in the modern world, we are so busy with our lives that we don't have time to do those things that people 50 years ago did easily. I guess our parents and grandparents, when they had parties back then, somehow they survived washing dishes after that. And that is just one of the examples. If you really want to do something about the plastic pollution, we have to sacrifice some of our comfort. As somebody who already introduced some of the eco-friendly and zero-waste habits in my life, I can tell that after a few years, you don't feel it as something inconvenient. It's just part of your life, and because you understand you're doing it for a better cause, it's actually easy in the long term to be living without that, so to say, convenience. So let's step away from the plastic convenience and do something about our environment. Those items can be easily replaceable by reusable, eco-friendly alternatives. Get yourself a reusable water bottle that will save you money as well. Get yourself a coffee mug, a tumbler for other drinks. And my last tip is not try to be 100% plastic-free today. That's a tough choice. That's a tough life. I can tell you that. Just start with small things and just try to be better than you were like last year and just better than you were a day before. Just go with the small steps and slowly replace single-use plastic items that are easy to replace to you now. The more items you have replaced, the easier the replacement goes into those categories that seemed almost impossible before. In some of my next videos, I will talk about alternatives to single-use plastic. I will talk what swaps can you do to make your journey into the plastic-free world a little bit easier. So if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the new videos. Okay, I'm on a mission. I need to find a plastic bottle, maybe a plastic cup, because I don't buy those things and I don't want to buy them specifically for my videos. So here we go, garbage bag. It looks really disgusting and I don't see any plastic cup. I still need another garbage bin. Oh my goodness, I never knew that starting a YouTube channel will imply going through somebody's garbage. It turned out I didn't need to scout through garbage bins. It was even easier to find a plastic bottle. I did something that my American husband kindly asked me not to do, but I did it. I stopped at the freeway because there were so many bottles along the road and I found one. To my little bottle, I'm gonna put some water inside it and pretend I'm drinking it. It's like super dirty.